YouTube, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 most underrated games of our generation. Now, I'm not going to be dating back to like the 90s or anything like that. I'm not doing an all-time underrated list. I'm not very familiar myself with games that are that old. I'm just talking about more recent games, kind of games that have come out, within the past 10, 15 years, something like that. Around that time, nothing too crazy, but we're going to be talking about the most underrated games of recent years in today's video. And no, not one of them is Call of Duty. I know you guys are watching that gameplay right now. That's just some background gameplay we're doing just for the intro of this video. Call of Duty is definitely not an underrated game. But yeah, we're going to be doing our top 10 most underrated games. Again, this is my opinion, okay? So take it with a grain of salt. It is just my opinion that these games are incredibly underrated. But these are games that not enough people really talk about, or not enough people really even know about, to be honest. Or just flat out games that got really terrible ratings when they shouldn't have. But mainly these are games that just deserve more love than what they get, whether they're too underrated or whether their reviews are just too negative. Either way, we're going to be talking about the 10 most underrated games. Coming in at number 10, this is one that a lot of you know about, okay? This is a very well-known game, but I think it does not get anywhere near enough love as it should, especially with the recent updates, and that is Fallout 76. This is a game that was terribly launched. Back at launch, when it first launched, it was just so bad, and all of the reviews for it were completely accurate. But since then, it has gone through multiple updates, and it has had a lot of really awesome things happen to it. And I'm not gonna lie, Fallout 76 is one of the funnest games I've played with my friends in recent years. Now, yes, it does have its issues, okay, it still has its issues, but this game definitely is not the pile of garbage that a lot of people make it out to be. I actually think it's a lot more fun than a lot of people say that it is, and again, that's my opinion, but I think it deserves a little bit more love than what it gets. Fallout 76 is actually a lot of fun, and it's definitely a lot of fun with friends. So, I mean, that's just it, it's a fairly popular game. I'd say Fallout is one of the most popular game series out there, so it's not like a lack of people know about Fallout 76. It just was terribly perceived once it came out, rightfully so. But I think that it deserves some more love in recent years, in the last couple of months, it's actually gone through quite a change, and it actually is a lot of fun. There's NPCs now, there's a storyline you can follow. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's more fun than what people give it credit for, at least in its current state. Coming in at number 9, we've got a game that so many few people actually know about. This game is called Journey to the Savage Planet. Now, a lot of you probably don't even know what this game is. It's actually a lot of fun. Journey to the Savage Planet is kind of a survival game in a different world, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a pretty simple game, but I really enjoy it. Think of kind of like Subnautica, but in space. Something like that. That's kind of what Journey to the Savage Planet is. You can play it by yourself or with friends, which is really fun, and it's a really fun game to play with friends. It's goofy, it's silly, it's funny, it's fun to upgrade your characters in, and it's all around, it's actually a really solid game that I think that not enough people play or even know about. So, Journey to the Savage Planet is definitely an underrated game. Coming in at number 8, we got kind of an older entry. This is Sleeping Dogs. This is like Grand Theft Auto, but in Tokyo, so it's a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoy Sleeping Dogs. It kind of follows the storyline of someone who's part of a gang in Tokyo or in Japan or somewhere over there. It's a really fun game. It's a lot of fun. It's very much similar to Grand Theft Auto. There's side stories that you can follow, side quests. There's cars you can buy. There are missions you can go on. The main quests are actually a lot of fun. The story is very underrated in this game, and I feel like not enough people know about it. It was free on Xbox Live a few years ago. That's actually why I found out about it. And since then, I've actually surprisingly had a lot of fun with that game. Sleeping Dogs is super underrated, and definitely not enough people know about it. And the missions in it are really fun. It's very similar to Grand Theft Auto. So if you like Grand Theft Auto, you're going to like a game like this a lot. Coming in at number 7, we've got Sea of Thieves. Now, I feel like a lot of people know about this game, but they've never really played the game. I feel like not enough people have actually played this game. It's very fun. It's very beautiful. It's one of the prettiest games I've ever played. Graphics-wise, it just looks incredible. It's one of the coolest games I've ever played. The water is beautiful. It's definitely one of the funnest multiplayer games you'll play. It's a ton of fun to play with friends. You can go and set sail on the seas and go find treasure, go kill skeletons. There's tons of fun different things you can do in Sea of Thieves, and it's very underrated for how good of a game it is. I think more people need to be playing Sea of Thieves, and yes, I know it's an Xbox exclusive, but even in the Xbox community, a lot of people don't play it. Now, it does have its flaws, okay? I understand there are flaws just like there are with any other game, but Sea of Thieves is definitely a game that shouldn't be flying under the radar quite like it is, especially just simply because of the graphics. The graphics are just amazing, so if you haven't played Sea of Thieves, I highly recommend checking it out. Coming in at number 6, we got a game that's kind of similar to the Fallout 76 situation. It's No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was really rough at launch. It was very, very bare. For how big of a game it was almost unbearable to play because of the lack of things to do. I remember it was one of the first first games that was as hyped as it was and as terrible as it was when it came out. It was kind of like one of the first games that did that flopped that hard. It was one of those first games, and I was surprised when it came out on how poorly it was received, and it was not good. It was not fun to play when it first came out. It was so bare, it was so dry, there was literally nothing to do in that game. But with recent updates, just like Fallout 76, it has become a really fun game. There's so much stuff to do now. There's much more of a storyline now. It's actually a really enjoyable game, and for someone who is as into space stuff as I am, it is a lot of fun. Let me tell you, that game is a ton of fun, and it is super fun to just explore things throughout the world of No Man's Sky. There's so much to do. There is so much to do in No Man's Sky. There's so much to explore. It is impossible to explore every planet in No Man's Sky if you guys didn't know. It would take somewhat like a trillion times a trillion. That's how long it would take to explore every world in No Man's Sky. So let me tell you, there is a ton of things to do in this game, and especially with the more recent updates, it just has become a lot better than since when it released. So I think it deserves a lot more love. I think a lot of people were turned off, same with Fallout 76, with how bad it was when it came out. And now that it's out, now that they've done some updates and that sort of thing, I think that a lot of people need to return to this game and check it out again, because it's a lot better. Now, coming into the bottom 5, the top 5 most underrated games in my opinion, we've got The Outer Worlds. This is probably one of the best roleplay games I've ever played in my life. I can honestly say that. It is probably one of the best roleplay games I've ever played. Tied with like Skyrim and Fallout and that sort of thing, it is absolutely amazing. It's got the best storyline out of all of those games I've played. It's got a better storyline than Fallout and Skyrim combined, for sure. It's a really enjoyable storyline. Tons of fun side quests to do. It's very similar to Fallout in the sense that the actual creators of Fallout New Vegas made this game. There's tons of dialogue options, tons of characters to find, so many different weapons, and it's seriously one of the funnest roleplay games I've ever played. It blows my mind that not enough people know about this. This is for sure one of the games that just is not popular, and it so should be. Like, it was pretty popular when it came out for like the first 2 days, and since then, no one has talked about this game. This game is absolutely phenomenal, and it should be in the conversation for the best roleplay game ever. It's so amazing. If you guys have not checked out this game, you absolutely have to. The Outer Worlds is seriously the best story game I've ever played. As far as the story goes, the gameplay is so much fun. It's just a phenomenal game. It really is. It brings back a lot of memories just even talking about it. If you guys haven't checked out this game, you definitely should. It is a super underrated game. Coming in at number 4, we have the Division series, and I'm talking about Division 1 more than I am talking about Division 2. The Division 2 was not even close to as good as the Division 1, but we'll talk about the Division series as a whole here. The Division is a lot of fun. It is a massively open world game. It's a multiplayer open world game. Tons of different missions to go on and that sort of thing. It's basically a shooter looter. You just upgrade your loot as you go throughout the stories. You can play these storylines with other players. There's a place in both the Division games called the Dark Zone where you can go against other players. It's PvP and PvE, and there's really good loot in the Dark Zone, but you have to extract it. So it's very similar to that of like the Escape from Tarkov, that kind of thing. Almost in a sense, you have to extract your loot and that sort of thing. But only in the Dark Zone can you go against other players. So guys, it is a lot of fun. Like, the fact that this game gets as bad of reviews as it does blows my mind, because this game is a lot of fun. The Division 1 was one of my favorite games ever when it came out. I played that game so much. I grinded that game. It's so much fun just going PvP, PvE, getting good loot in the Dark Zone, and then coming out with your good loot and just shredding through main missions. It's a lot of fun. This game is like super underrated. It's kind of like sad to see how negative this game was perceived. Both the Division 1 and the Division 2, it is a ton of fun. I like it a lot. This is a fun third-person shooter, ton of fun to play with friends, and it's just so much fun upgrading your loot, getting legendary weapons, that sort of thing. It's a ton of fun. I'm really surprised that it's as negatively perceived as it is, and if you guys haven't checked out the Division series, you definitely should. Coming in at number 3, we got Hunt Showdown. With how popular the Escape from Tarkov has started to become, Hunt Showdown should be in that conversation. Hunt Showdown is very similar to Escape from Tarkov, just basically in a different time period. It is a Wild West game, but there's a couple of twists and turns to it. There's like super demonic things that you fight in this world in Hunt Showdown. It's almost like a horror game, but not quite. There's super demonic things that you fight throughout the Wild West, just ghosts and ghouls and zombies and that sort of thing. It's PvP and PvE, so you go into this world. You have an hour to find 3 clues and then find the boss on the map. and when you find the boss, you have to start killing it. And when you start killing the boss, it is labeled to everyone that is in your world where you are. So people can come and kill you, real people, while you're trying to kill this boss. And then once you kill the boss, you have to wait for 2 minutes while you exfil the boss or get rid of the boss. You're labeled on the map the entire time. So you'll run into a bunch of, PvE players, the in-game players and the zombies and that sort of thing. And then real life players will come and try to hunt you down. And then once you get your loot, you will have to go and extract. So it's a lot like Escape from Tarkov. And once you extract, you get a bunch of better loot and that sort of thing. And it's a lot of fun with games kind of similar to this genre on the rise, and it's gaining more popularity. It really is shocking that Hunt Showdown is not in the talks. See a lot of people playing Escape from Tarkov, which is very similar to this, but no one's playing this, and it's very shocking to me. It's a lot of fun. Number 2 is none other than the great Sunset Overdrive. This game is amazing. This game is so much fun. It was developed by Insomniac Games, which, if you don't know, is the same people who developed the Spider-Man games on PlayStation 4, which, funny enough, Insomniac used to be Xbox owned or Microsoft owned, so Sunset Overdrive is an Xbox only game, and now they are Sony owned, so now they only make PlayStation only games, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Sunset Overdrive is so much fun. The movement is very similar to Spider-Man if you've ever played it, and really it's just a crazy game. There's been an infection of zombies that has spread throughout the world, and you're one of the last survivors, and you glide around, you can grind on rails, you can do so many fun things. There's boss fights. It's goofy, it's funny, it's colorful, it's a lot of fun. It's a super underrated game. If you like Spider-Man, the PlayStation exclusive game, you will absolutely love Sunset Overdrive. The movement is very identical to Spider-Man, and it's just a lot of fun. The dialogue is great. The colors are so fun and colorful. It's just a great game. It is a great, great game. Coming in at number 1, this is a game that so few people talk about. I mean, it's insane to me how few people know about this game in the gaming community. The game is the entire Borderlands franchise. The entire Borderlands franchise is so underrated, it blows my mind. This is one of the best games I've ever played. In fact, Borderlands 2 is my favorite game. We'll be talking about Borderlands 2 for the most part during this, but really the entire Borderlands series is so underrated, it's ridiculous. The amount of people who are hardcore gamers that just flat out haven't even heard about this game is insane to me. You should have at least heard about this game, let alone played this game. Like, it blows my mind how few people actually know what Borderlands is and how few people have actually played it. This is the shooter-looter of shooter-looter games. It is so much fun. It's a role-play game, but it's very shooter-looter. It is a shooter-looter before it's a role-play game. Now, the story, as far as Borderlands 2 goes, is top-notch. One of the best stories I have ever played through in my entire life, and throughout the entire game of all the Borderlands games, you just kill enemies, and there are billions of weapons that you can choose from. Literally billions of weapons. That's the big selling point for Borderlands, is that they have billions of weapons throughout these games. There's so many different weapons that you can loot, so many different weapons you can upgrade, that sort of thing. You can upgrade your Vault Hunter, which is the player that you're playing as. So many fun skill trees to go through, and it's just the gunplay in Borderlands is so much fun. It is so fun to just go through and destroy enemies, use your special skill power, upgrade yourself, all that sort of thing. It is so much fun, and the entire game is so goofy. The storyline is super goofy. The characters you meet throughout the game, just super goofy and funny, and so much action. It's very colorful. It is a fantastic game, and it is disgusting how underrated it is. It really needs so much more love and support. So if you guys haven't checked out any of these 10 games, you definitely should. But if you're going to take one thing away from this, take away the fact that Borderlands is like one of the best games ever. So you should definitely check it out if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you guys think are some underrated games in the comment section below. If I missed anything, go ahead and let me know. What are your guys' top 10 most underrated games? Let me know in the comment section below. I just kind of wanted to make this video. It's a little different than what I normally make, but I like doing top 10 reviews kind of like this. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. We post 3 videos a week, and we stream 3 times a week. So, of course, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.